Good afternoon and welcome to the presentation during which we'll be discussing our project and business. This meeting was hosted by Tatiana Tarasova, member of the President's Board of GemSpace Group of Companies on September 11th of 2025. My name is Oleg Lipovetsky and today I'll be translating on behalf of Ms. Tarasova. Tatiana Tarasova speaking. Greetings, dear colleagues, partners, and friends, and welcome to today's brief presentation of our business. My name is Tatiana Tarasova, and I am a member of the President's Board of GemSpace Group of Companies. Firstly, allow me to introduce myself. I am a financial analyst with expertise in lending risks, having worked in a bank for most of my life where I was in charge of the lending department. Thus, I have extensive experience in business valuation, investment, and risk mitigation. I am also a business auditor as well as I am myself an investor of GemSpace and am actively participating in its development and promotion. I have fully immersed myself in this business because it is much more promising than working for somebody else. Additionally, I believe this sector is currently trending immensely and offers the greatest potential for returns. So today we will discuss the major potential and new opportunities offered by the project. Before I begin, kindly be advised that ownership of securities and other financial assets is always associated with risks. The value of securities and other financial instruments may rise or fall. Past investment results are not a guarantee of future returns, and this is not an individual investment recommendation. Thus, today, through my own reflections, I wish to explain why I joined the company and why this particular project. As this company gave me the answers to all of my questions, which, as you can see, correspond to these 4 points that represent the concerns of many people today. So, today we will talk about how to navigate the digital platforms market, stay in trend, as GemSpace Super App also helps you stay at the forefront of the information driving the world forward today. I will discuss its features shortly. However, I would like to share its business idea first. I wish to point out that the products available online were actually developed with the funds from private investors over the past 9 years. We invested in all developments and products with the goal of selling them and sharing the profits amongst the investors who supported this endeavor. Now, this is a brilliant financial model, which essentially ensured our success and results for both the products and the investors who own shares of the business. This is our business model, as at this time, we are close to executing the first sale. So, what is GemSpace Super App? It is a multifunctional application that operates in nearly 180 countries of the world and serves as a hybrid social network, a messenger, online conference platform, fintech services, and much more within. Today, GemSpace Super App allows to not only communicate and be entertained, but also business development and solving numerous tasks within. But that is not all, as GemSpace also includes popular, unique features that are continuously being introduced. These are exactly the features that allowed us to attract nearly 50 million user base, offering comfort and convenience. And here, you can see especially listed our distinctive features. Boasting artificial intelligence with built-in free features, including video conferences, video circles, a newsfeed. And also, since monetization is now being launched on the platform, it is possible to earn money in it as well. At this given moment, we are implementing new cutting-edge features, technologies, and products that enable launching cash flows on the platform. This significantly increases its value. And as a co-owner of this business and platform myself, I am very interested, like other shareholders and investors, in seeing the platform thrive not only through new users but also through monetization, meaning the initiation of financial flows on the ecosystem, as well as our transformation via implementation of mini apps. Thus, most importantly, our team of software developers and fintech specialists are also currently launching fintech features quite actively. PayGem is our payment system that will allow people to transfer funds with ease and promptly, which makes financial flows easier between sellers, users, and buyers. And of course, this also represents a very significant step of transformation to enable the launch of financial flows within the ecosystem. The launch of the Mini-App platform stands for implementation of a sophisticated system that will support onboarding third-party mini applications into our GemSpace ecosystem. By launching their solutions and services on GemSpace, they gain an immense user base with its potential clients for them. For us, however, this also generates synergy, meaning that with every new feature and capability of our ecosystem, it will attract even more users to it. Furthermore, Web3 technology is still new, but just like with transitioning from button phones to smartphones or the emergence of crypto transactions, these innovations are gradually becoming part of our daily lives. So similarly, Web3 is a powerful, ongoing process that is bound to become part of everyone's daily lives, and we recognize it will reshape how we operate long-term, attracting new users. Moreover, GemSpace is actively approaching 50 million users. This clearly shows growing popularity, as people like the application because it is comfortable and convenient to use. So indeed, today, the number of users is growing exponentially, as everyone realizes that the situation is beginning to change in various countries and people who are accustomed to the comfort and convenience of communication look for alternatives if something stops working. Thus, today we are experiencing a major influx of users, both in Russian Federation, CIS countries, and abroad, across various countries and regions, because many people and users wish for uninterrupted communication with close family, friends, and others so they can stay connected. Since GemSpace allows to do all of this uninterrupted and free of charge, as a platform, it is currently experiencing an exponential growth and influx in users. This depicts that our strategy and hard work is paying off, because in reality, these are precisely the kinds of platforms and company products that take years to develop, and we've spent 9 years doing so, diligently building it, and now our moment of glory is here today. We are quickly approaching our final goal of strategic sale. And now, a little bit of analysis related to business analytics and valuations. I will share an analysis of how the business has developed, because this is an opportunity to participate in a fast-growing business, and there is a great potential to earn quite well from it as well, as our latest independent valuation in 2024 has been concluded at $1.6 billion. Furthermore, here you can review the dynamic of growth in its value. Based on the two most recent valuations, you can see the $700 million increase between the two. In 2 years, the value of GemSpace Super App practically doubled. And today, our rate of growth is even more rapid than before, given the new innovative features that are being implemented and the explosive user growth it is experiencing. Since today, our company doesn't just have GemSpace in its product lineup. Apart from our B2C direction, GemSpace with the final goal of its strategic sale to an entity, individual buyer, or a conglomerate. On the other hand, we have GemTeam, which is our B2B and B2G licensing direction product that sells licenses for the use of our secure and sovereign communication solutions to businesses, private entities, and governmental institutions in volumes, and it yields dividends with the sale of every individual license. So, in other words, this is a very profitable direction that is also in great demand today, and we are ready to provide such solutions. The demo versions of the platform are already prepared and are currently being tested by several corporations with sales contracts for the products already in place. Sovereignty has sharply become the top priority, and practically all countries and regions suddenly began to actively emphasize it and need it. And GemTeam is the response to this demand, and we are prepared for it in advance. Given the rapidly growing demand, we prepared our product accordingly in time for the significant demand across the world. Of course, investors and shareholders are quite happy with the project and its prosperous future, as the project is very capital intensive due to its independent valuations. Moreover, it is a very complex product with a scalable business model, which means that it can generate returns quickly due to the high demand, and right now we need to meet that demand because the market is hot. As we began closely working with integrators in various countries to sell our software to their clientele. They customize it for their clients and essentially are also responsible for its implementation. So currently, we work closely with these integrator companies, training them so they can not only sell our software, but also adjust and manage its continuous operation. At the moment, we are on the very verge of such a surge. This involves not just dozens, but thousands of licenses sold to clients who will remain our customers for years to come. The product is sold under a licensing system, which means recurring payments. Contracts are signed for several years, and the annual subscription fees provide a steady revenue stream for the investment fund and, of course, its shareholders. For example, when we presented our product at Web Summit in Lisbon, Portugal in 2024, we received more than 100 requests to obtain demo versions of Gem Team and pursue additional discussions. Moreover, we've even brought our demo version to Web Summit Qatar, where several entities obtained localized tests and negotiations are currently underway with several countries and corporations. We are now at the threshold, eagerly waiting for new contracts and licenses. Even just recently, Gemsoft was a sponsor at a major international tech exhibition in Oman, where our business development team members were actively engaging with new entities on behalf of our B2C, B2B, and B2G digital products. So we have a permanent team on site in Doha, Qatar, that handles Gem Team platform implementation and engages with new clients across the GCC. And now I will discuss something very important. There are two business models leading to two sources of income in our company. The first is creating a large capital. Each investor in GemSpace B2C product will receive their profits in accordance to the number of shares owned at the time when the project is sold. Essentially, this is what we are building and working for over the past 9 years. Whereas, on the other hand, Gem Team is recurring dividend income for those shareholders and investors who own shares of the B2B and B2G project via licenses sold with recurring annual maintenance fees. It is ever so lucrative today, given the demand for the product and since the first dividends have already started being paid to the shareholders. Thus, I wanted to discuss profitability slightly more, as investors always ask about the returns when they receive them and the associated risks as well. So, I gathered financial indicators from other projects that have followed our path, and the bottom line shows the profit percentage in our field. So we are also expecting returns within these margins. So when an investor asks me what kind of yield to expect and how much, I depict the benchmarks. Our investment fund, 3D Investment Fund, has 40 million shares in its founding capital. Out of them, 30 million shares are Class A shares specific to GemSpace B2C direction. 3 million shares are Class C dividend shares specific to Gemsoft B2B licensing direction. So now, let's take a look at the expected returns for both directions. As mentioned previously, our value was $1.6 billion approximately 2 years ago with 40 million users. Today, as we approach 50 million, we understand that the project can sell for $3 billion, and it is quite possible. This is just a mathematical calculation, not a promise of profits. When purchasing an investment package, an investor purchases one share on average for $50. while Class C shares are complimentary for a limited time with the purchase. Thus, an investor is able to gain two types of income currently when purchasing packages of shares containing both Class A and Class C shares. So, let's review the profit percentage for just Class A shares at this time. With the purchase of one share at $50, when selling for $3 billion, the investor receives $100 per share, which is 100% profit. Moreover, due to the exponential growth of our user base and soonest implementation of financial flows in GemSpace, the value of the application will grow significantly as well. Thus, with a potential sale amount for $10 billion, the investor receives $300 per share, which is a 500% profit. With a sale of $30 billion, the investor will receive $1,000 per share, which is 1,900% profit. This is the kind of return that can be expected. Whereas, as for Class C shares, it is a separate division of the company, and 1.5 million Class C shares are already owned by shareholders, which have already started receiving their dividends. And dividends are paid on each licensing contract purchased for GemTeam corporate communication system. Thus, Class C dividend-bearing shares are the source of continuous recurring income, and the first dividends have already been paid on July 23rd. The total licensing contract amount was €3,280,000, with dividends per share at €1.01. The more shares a shareholder has, the more dividends they accrue. Some may say that's not a lot, but I always note that corporations typically pay dividends once or twice a year. Dividends are typically small per market average and paid only biannually or annually. However, our company pays out dividends every time a new licensing contract is entered into, renewed, and by the end of the year, if the company achieves a level of sales flow, it would also reach self-sufficient financing, and dividends would be getting paid on a continuous basis. So one can say it's already generating some kind of self-financing as we speak. Thus, the opportunity to become a shareholder at this time is already rather limited. That is why now is a great time to become a shareholder. The investment fund is incredibly prestigious, and you can join us in sharing the main profits accumulated over 9 years of diligent and hard work. So how can one become an investor? Simply create an account to purchase shares. Choose the desired investment threshold, for instance, an invest package, and pay for the chosen package using a bank card. Then, it is mandatory to submit all the required documents for verification to be enlisted in the registry of shareholders, since each investor owns a share in the company's founding capital. Currently, you are seeing current business packages available for purchase. Super PAC is the most profitable purchase if we look at the price per share, which is in the third column. Class C dividend-bearing shares are also currently being gifted complimentary with the purchase of Class A shares for a limited time only. Furthermore, one can make gradual upgrades with small packages, increasing their ownership over time. So nowadays, in this market and in this economy, our market sector is the fastest growing and most rapidly developing, so it makes for a wise financial decision to partake in its growth. And a few words about our 3D investment fund. The investment fund has all the necessary financial licenses and all the documentation available for review. Every investor has a comprehensive package of documents in their personal accounts at their disposal, as here are a few examples for the reference. And as of today, we are in the highest category of legal and financing standing on the world's market in accordance to European standards, with complete protection of all investors due to the fund's financial license. So in conclusion, in times of turbulence, uncertainty, inflation, and high demand for rising assets, one category of people become prosperous and wealthy, while the other category is left behind and loses out. Our investment fund is currently generating tremendous wealth for its shareholders involved, And of course, during such a time of uncertainty and instability in the world, this is particularly significant. So today is the best time to take action to join a successful company and team and become a co-owner of 3D Investment Fund.